Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below to see all of those discounted games. Hello my friends, today we're going to be in the cold and we're going to be building a pyramid. Wait a minute, aren't pyramids in the desert? Well, normally they are, but not today. Because we're going to be building an ice pyramid. Today we're taking a look at Nunatak. This is a sort of an area control, three-dimensional building game with set collection. It is designed by Kane Klenko, who is a fantastic designer, put out by Kosmos or Thames and Kosmos in North America. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Nunatak, you're going to be building a Temple of Ice, and you're going to be using different types of cards to do so, like architects and elders and builders and beasts of burdens and sculptors and artisans that use different tools. Now, these are going to help you build in certain places, but they're also going to give you sort of victory conditions and different paths of victory for set collection. So here's the board set up randomly. Each of these tiles is placed randomly at the beginning, and this is going to show you where you're building the ground floor of the Ice Temple. On your turn, you're simply going to select one of the four cards that's there, and it's important because these cards all score differently, but they also will tell you where you're building. Like if I take this one, I need to build on something that has this icon on it, and you'll take the top tile. These are numbered. The ones start on the board and then goes 2 through 4. These get sort of better and more flexible and have multiple things on them as the game goes on. So we're gonna grab this, and I can place it on any of the spots that has that icon. So let's say I go something like this, you just put it on just like that. That's the end of my turn. Let's say the next player goes, let's say they get the builder, which gives them a special ability. It allows them to swap a builder tile with another tile. Let's say they wanted to build here. They could swap any builder tile with it, like that, and then place the block on that spot. Maybe because they want to sort of get in this person's way a little bit. Now let's say the next player gets the elder. This also has a special ability, but let's place. Well, let's say the player just wants to go play on their own over here in the corner. And this is going to allow them to get a card. That's what the ability of the Elder does. Some of these cards are one-time use. Like I could immediately take a turn when I want to, once, but then I miss my next turn if I want to get 2 in a row. This is end game. At the end of the game, you can move one of your cards to any other type. That's going to help with scoring. Sometimes there's some that give you, immediate things. So different little cards there. Now let's say it's the orange player's turn and they go here. Once you finish a 2x2 grid, you're looking for area control or area majority. Whoever has the most in these 4 is going to get 5 points. Whoever has the second most gets 2 points. If it's tied, it's the player who placed the last one. So blue didn't want to set this up knowing that orange might have been able to place there because they're going to get those majority points. But now players can start to build on the next floor whenever they want. So the orange player was smart because they got in there last and got the tiebreaker and got 5 points versus 2. So they essentially beat that player by 3 points. But the blue player is going to go here, and when you place on a floor above, you're going to get the points for each of yours supporting. So in this one, they're going to get 2 points there. Now, each of these card types that I've been showing you, they have different end game scoring. So for example, the builders, at the end of the game, you're going to have, if you have the most builders, you're going to get 20 points. If you're tied, you get 12. And then everyone else gets 2 points per builder. The sculptor is just straight set collection. However many you get is however many points. The artisans, you're going to get a certain amount per tool type. So I have one of the rope and one of this, so that would just be 0 points. I need to get a second one to get some points, but they ramp up fast. If you get 5 of a tool, it's 24 points. Plus, if you get all 3 tools, it's 10 points on top of that. So the tools are harder to get, but they can be advantageous. The beast, you take the number of icons and you multiply it by the number of beast cards you have. So that's going to help you if you're really focusing on beast. The architects. Now, as many of these cards you have, you'll multiply that on the number on your architect track. And this goes up once for every row or column in the Ice Temple that you finish. So if you're the one to be the last one to place a block that does a row or a column, you move this up 1. And this tells you how many times the architect's cards. And the Elder cards, they're going to give you a point for each of these cards. So this is going to get me a point, and this is going to get me 2 more points. So as you get Elders, you're going to be focusing on other types of sets as well. And also at the end of the game, you're going to get 10 points for each set of one of each of the different type sets out there. Now the game's going to end when basically you get to the top. There's basically a 2x2 section that's finished. And then whoever has placed the most blocks on the outsides of each of the levels, sort of looking down, gets to place the cap and gets 7 points. And then essentially you go through all the scoring I just mentioned. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Now it's interesting to note everything in the game, the cards and the tiles all start with a lower number and they get to the higher numbers as the game goes on, because as the game goes on, there's gonna be less places to place, so the cards give you more opportunities. This can be used for an artisan or a sculpture, and this can be used to be placed that or that. So the tiles sort of ramp together as it gets harder, the less places to play, the cards make it a little easier so the game stays smooth. All right, things that I like. Let me come in here with my biases. Kane Klenko is a designer that I tend to like his designs. They tend to be very streamlined, no ounces of fat on the game. I like his design, so I'm more inclined to like his designs. And so that's sort of my biases coming into here. Game, right off the bat, you're going to notice as people walk by, they're going to stop and look and go, what the heck are you playing? As this thing gets built, it has great table presence. You see all these colorful cubes, you see this thing being built up, and you look at it and go, oh, this must be confusing. It must be a complex game. No, it's super streamlined and quick turns in Kane Klenko fashion there. Very easy. I mean, most turns, you're taking a card, placing a block, next person's turn. Sometimes you're going to be like, oh, I get some turns because we finished one and we put a second level up. Sometimes you might be going, oh, I'm going to score things from below. Sometimes, hey, I get to go up the track because I finished a row column. But most turns, majority of them, you're probably just taking a card, placing a block, go. And the turns are snappy. The game moves fast. I like the abstract nature of building the pyramid because you can build sort of anywhere-ish, So you're building over here, you're building over there, you're trying to get area control. And there is an abstract nature of thinking about when I should build where I can wait to build there, where do I really need to go right now, prioritizing where I need to go. I like that aspect of it. The selecting the card for placement is interesting because it's like, you might want that card because you're building that set, or you might want that card for a million other reasons. The cards themselves, I like that there's lots of different things they do, but none of them are too confusing. They're all very streamlined. That's the name of the game here. So you might want to get a card with tools, right? Because that has both points for variety of tools, but also points to get sets. Almost like pseudo Seven Wonders science scoring a little bit there. Maybe you want the sculptor, just get straight sets, more points every sculptor you get. Maybe you want a builder card, just swap tiles as you build. Maybe you want beasts for the multiplier, multiplying the amount of beasts logos by the amount of cards. Maybe you want the elders because you want to get that blessing card or the special ability, but maybe you want to score for 2 other types of cards. Maybe you want to get the architect to go up that architect track so the rows and columns mean more to you. Lots of strategy and lots of depth in just a game that's grab a card, place a block. Like, really interesting. But I like that you're deciding which set collection card you're getting for all those different reasons, but you're also thinking of area control and where I'm building, because when you pull that card, you build where that thing is. It's such an easy decision space, but yet it's so thoughtful and it's provoking. And I like it. It's just simple, but lots of depth. Those are the types of games I love, and this fits right into that. I like that, when you finish the rows and columns, you're moving up that architect track, and then that's going to help depending on how many architect cards you get and things like that. I like that there's area control with the turn-based tiebreaker. So it's like, okay, if you go in there and if you're like the third person there and you're like, if that next person goes, they're going to tie me and they're going to go, then you might not want to go there, right? You want to make sure you don't set other players up. But you can look at the cards and go, you know what? They can't go there right now. Even there's no builders out there, that card isn't out there. They can't go there right now. I'm safe for a round, right? Maybe it comes back to you and you'll be able to build there. Maybe somebody else will build there and screw everything up, right? You don't know, but the tension there is kind of good. And I like the timing of when you're thinking about prioritizing when you should do that. And that tiebreaker gets the extra points is good because you don't want to set other people up. And so you start building, kind of forces you and makes you sort of build in other areas, which makes the pyramid build in different ways, which is interesting. I like that you place on top of the supporting blocks for points. And so you're going to be placing there, getting points for below. So people are trying to stop each other and police each other. Hey, you stop them. No, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. You stop them. And everyone's trying to sort of like, stop other people, but at the same time, you're only after your own thing. There's some tabletop that goes on there. The blessing cards are cool because those special abilities really can break the rules of the game, make you have different powers that you can use, sometimes giving you extra points at the end of the game. And I like that at the end, you look straight down and everything on the edge gets you end game points. Also, sets of varieties of sets. One of each of the cards types gets you set. So it's a point salad. There's lots of ways to get points, but a lot of it is driven by why I want to get that card is because where I want to place for all the other ways to get points. It's really streamlined. I like this game a lot. Negative things. Not a lot negative here to say. I really like this game a lot. With all those pieces, it's tricky to get everything in the box to lay flat. You kind of have to, like, as you rearrange all the pieces, kind of make sure they're not like all like messed up. You kind of have to line them up a little bit, make sure they sit flat, then you can get everything in there. Not a big deal. It's okay if the lid pops up a little bit, but you can get it to sit flat if you take some extra time. The other thing is the 2-player game, it can be extra thinky because essentially, you get like 3 blocks, 2 of them are yours, one of them's a third player. You're deciding which order to put them in. And yes, you are messing up your opponent's plans with that opponent's block. And yes, you're taking cards that your opponent might want for that player and things like that. And it is interesting, and it can be actually a little bit more thinky than the original game, which parts of that I like. But I still think in the end that this game really shines when you have actually 3 or more humans playing. It's not a bad game with 2 players. I didn't dislike it. But typically games that are designed for 2 players only tend to be the games I play with 2 players because they're just they're made. That's it. Easy to balance, 2 players, just everything's designed for that. This isn't a bad game, 2 players. If you don't have a lot of games in your collection, can you play as 2 players? Yes, I wouldn't play it for your first game though, because it is a lot more thinky. You gotta know how the game unravels in order to play it. So I think the game shines at 3 or 4, but if you don't have a huge collection of games, you can still play this with 2 after you've played it with 3 and 4 and still enjoy it. But that's pretty much all I got for this game. It is fantastic. I think it's super streamlined. If you like the 3D look, if you want a streamlined game with lots of different ways to get points, giving you lots of flexibility, lots of replayability, then you got to take a look at Nunatak, the Ice Pyramid. It's been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games, by helping you on the next one you love. Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, and their 4.5 Kickstarter introduced the new Galactic Minecraft and Watson Game Toppers with interchangeable rail inlays, as well as new game mats, miniature gaming terrain packs, leg kit options, dining covers, accessories, and amazing package deals. The campaign recently ended, but it's not too late to pledge late at GameToppersLLC.com.